Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at January 2024. We have finally made it into 2024. So happy New Year. And we're going to take a look at each individual life path number, the forecast for January 2024. Before we get into that, though, if you haven't already watched or listened to your forecast for 2024, it is up on my YouTube channel and my podcast for each individual life path number. I highly suggest checking that out. Also, if you haven't already booked some time with me to have your own personal year ahead forecast completed or your numerology reading, I also highly suggest that. And you can book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I would love to take a look and to work with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the magic of this new year. Life Path 22-4. So you all are going to be working with the energy of the 31-4 for January. You're also going to be working with prairie dog energy. So what's interesting is, this 31-4 energy is the same energy you were working with at the full moon that happened on December 26th. So if you haven't listened to that video that I put out, I suggest listening to it because it's going to be around the same themes. So if you noticed anything that came up around that full moon, this could be a continuation of that. I can't remember the animal that you got for that reading, but someone got prairie dog for that reading. And if it was you all, that would be pretty wild, but it does actually correlate with this energy beautifully. So for January, working with this 31-4 energy, there's definitely something here, of course, about collaboration, teamwork, making sort of adjustments as needed to harmoniously connect with and work with others. So teamwork is coming in very, very strongly around January for you all. And that, again, correlates with the energy of prairie dog, because if you think about prairie dogs, there's a sense of community. Like they each are their own, they each have their own dedicated responsibility and tasks, right? They have their own little job that they do, but they work together harmoniously. They work together as a community, and they make sure that there's open communication, that the other parts of the community know what's happening at all times, right? And so you can hear that if you ever, come across prairie dogs, they're very chatty, right? So there's definitely something here about like working together in some sense of community, which, is such a big part of the 22-4's journey to really, be that solution focused, master builder, but to do that with others. So sometimes in collaboration. And so that can sometimes be some of the challenges of the 22-4. So in January, I do see sort of an emphasis on this. So you might have to be adaptable in how it is that you've been showing up to a situation where there needs to be some greater give and take, or some greater understanding that you may have the best idea, you may have the best solution, and you may know exactly how to get there. But, in teamwork, not to sound cheesy, but in teamwork, there is no I, right? And so how can you share that idea and be that leader, but while leading alongside of others, right? And while also taking into consideration other people's ideas and experiences and wisdom, because that will help you to get to that solution, but you can work smarter, not harder. And you don't have to do it independently on your own, which I know for a lot of 22-4s, working independently is often the ideal. But I think you'll find this month that you will have plenty of opportunities to work with others and see what works, what doesn't, and where is it that you can make some adaptations or some adjustments so that you can sort of be that leader in making it work. Because, teamwork isn't always easy. And this can also be, it doesn't have to be work related. It can be, around home life. It can be, how you work with your partner, how you share responsibility, understanding that, they may have ideas that could be better than yours. They could be more efficient or more effective. And if you can work together, you can accomplish so much more. Same thing with if you have children, understanding that children have access to new, evolved, progressive ways of doing things that we didn't have access to. So it could be that they have brilliant ideas that could, help you to be more effective or efficient in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Again, I come back to prairie dog, where it's not a hierarchy necessarily with a prairie dog community. It's more about like, let's work together to, work efficiently. Also with this 31-4 energy, there's definitely something here about determination, resilience, and patience, which really is the summary of 4 energy. But with the 31, it sort of brings this additional sort of degree of, I don't want to say challenges, but I guess I would say like obstacles to overcome. And those obstacles are really just checkpoints to say, is this what you want? Are you approaching it in the most efficient way? Is there a better way to approach it? What are your limitations? Really be honest about those, and then call in the reinforcements, call in the people who have strengths where it is that you have weaknesses. But first you have to admit that you have the weaknesses. And again, sometimes that can be a little challenging for 22-4s, which is fine. But these obstacles give you an opportunity to be very honest with yourself about like, okay, and that limitation could be like, wow, I really can't do this all by myself. Like, wow, I really do need to ask for help, and that's okay. So there's a beauty to the obstacles, even though they can be frustrating for 4s and 22-4s, right? But again, it's really asking you to check in with yourself and say, is this what I want? Am I doing it the best way that I could do it? Is it efficient? And all of the things. Am I doing it in a lead by or lead alongside of others type of way? Is there, what are my limitations, etc. And through that, you'll either find, yes, I want to continue with this. Yes, it feels, part of my heart center, or no, I don't even want this anymore. Like, this is just draining. I'm feeling burdened by this. Let me release it. Let me change gears. Let me shift gears, regardless of how much time, money, energy, resources you've plugged into whatever this is. And that can also be something that's challenging for 4s, 22-4s as well, right? Is shifting gears after you've sort of invested so much time into something, because it's sort of this conundrum. The 4 is meant to be resilient, continue along a path with working towards structure and stability with some kind of strategy, with some kind of, structure, right? But resilience. So that's innate within the 4 is to keep going and to keep climbing the mountain. But the 4 also has to recognize when it's time to give up, when it's time to say no. And that can be very, very difficult for 4s, right? 22-4s. Is to know when to shift gears, no matter how much you've invested. And so there's like this fine line that can be very challenging for this energy. So I do think you'll have some things come in this month where there'll be checkpoint energies to say, is this the mountain you want to be climbing, basically? And if it's not, it's okay to turn around, everything you learned up to this point will benefit you on the next mountain that you climb. So it's not for nothing, right? But again, it's just knowing when to shift gears and doing that with grace, right? And understanding for yourself. So while working with others as well. So interesting energy coming in for you all 22-4s this month. But again, it could be a continuation of whatever came up for you around that full moon. So, and there could be some emotional aspects to this that, you really need to sit with and move through before you can move forward. So I hope it's a beautiful January for you all. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye for now.